What's going on, everybody? This is Fox, and I'm back with more Dark Souls 3. This time we're taking a look at the weapons included in the Ashes of Ariandel DLC. Starting off things will be a Valor Heart. Unique straight sword and shield added in the Ashes of Oriental DLC. And this weapon has entirely unique moveset. Some of its attack, actually most of its attacks, include blocking frames, and it obviously cannot be two-handed since it is a twin weapon, but this is one of the weapons that I completely don't know how good they are yet. I feel like this weapon has a lot of potential, but I haven't completely figured it out yet. Actually, I haven't figured it out pretty much at all yet. It doesn't do too much damage. I have it +4 currently, and it has a pretty short reach, but with the blocking frames I feel like it can be a very useful weapon. But as with blocking, you have to be very wary that both your attacks and possibly blocks are gonna consume stamina. So if you attack and trade, you're gonna you're gonna lose stamina both for the attack and the block. So just be wary of that. So as you saw right there, the weapon art of this weapon is this stance called the lion stance, and a normal attack does this thrusting move, and a strong attack bashes with a shield along with a lion roar. And where you get this weapon is a boss called the Great Tender, and the Great Tender's Great Wolf. And the next weapon we have is the Unexplained, probably one of my favorites added along with in this DLC. It has a typical greatsword moveset, but the weapon skill imbues the weapons with fire. I think it's 150 fire damage. You're not gonna get all 150 as flat damage added, obviously, but it's still a lot of damage, and the AR of this weapon is 725 at the moment, so that's pretty damn high. What's unique is that this is a great pyromancer weapon. It has a C scaling in both faith and intelligence, making it incredibly good for pyromancers. And yes, that buff, applying the buff also deals damage. And I'm pretty sure this weapon has exactly the same moveset as the Claymore. And what's also unique is that this weapon deals mostly dark damage. Dark damage is the rarest damage type in Dark Souls 3, and usually the lowest defense people have is dark defense. So this weapon is actually pretty good even in PvP, and you get it as a drop from Server Wilhelm in the Quovian settlement in the DLC. Okay, I'm gonna stop saying in the DLC right now, because obviously all the weapons are gonna be from the DLC. And the next one is the Follower Saber, which, let's start by saying two things. This weapon is really damn strong. It's probably one of the best, if not the best weapon in the game at the moment, and it's on par even with the Karthus curved sword, mostly because of the weapon art, which is so damn good. So this weapon has really high AR for a curved sword. Mine has 463 at the moment, and what makes this really unique is its weapon skill, which I will show you right now, is this double dash, which can be also followed up with a strong attack for this kind of slam into the ground. And that thing has pretty damn good tracking, and it does ridiculously high damage. Also, it has hyper armor. and you get this when you break down a big bridge, big bridge in the DLC, and go down it as a ladder. Midway, where there are routes that you have to jump down one by one. On one of the routes, around midpoint down, there will be this weapon. And the next one is the Quills, which is a thrusting sword and a claw weapon along with it. And this weapon has really high, let me show you, as you can see right there, 859 damage. This has really high critical damage. It has a critical multiplier of 150. What the? Where did I even get this number from? 130. Other than that, it's a pretty ordinary straight sword, but when you spamming the L1, you can do this cool little combo attack, and the weapon art is also very unique. The weapon art is, I'm pretty sure it's 4 or 3 throwing knives. Alright, 4, yeah. 4 throwing knives that, if I'm not actually mistaken, not all, but apply weapon buffs. So if you have a buff on, the quills you throw will apply the damage from the buff. I'm not sure if it's all of them apply the buff or just they apply it once. I'm pretty sure it's just once. But here I'll show you if this guy, yes. So please lower your guard. I'm gonna use a longer lasting buff. So alright, let him flask. There, it didn't. Because I faced a guy wielding lightning blade yesterday while using this weapon, and while he attacked me with this weapon art, which is the like throw knife thingy, it actually caused the effect of lightning blade. So I'm pretty sure it applies buffs or buff damage. And so this weapon you get from the Kovian settlement. There is this large boulder on top, and on top of it there is the Quills. And the next is probably the most ordinary of all the weapons added, and it is the Millwood Battle Axe. It has a bit higher damage than like the ones of Brigand Axe and the normal Battle Axe, but it functions very similarly. But what makes this weapon unique is its completely new kind of war cry, which is this. You jump towards the enemy, or you dash, and at the end you jump towards the enemy, giving you some hyper armor and also staggering them multiple times like that. And then afterwards you get the war cry damage buff. Pretty cool. Feels a bit clunky in PvP in my opinion, but it can be useful. Also, this weapon swings a bit slower than other battle axes. I can... Oh, sorry, I just realized I was using... Oh yeah, I was using it two-handed. Holy crap, I'm an idiot. That's my bad. Where you get the Millwood Battle Axe is in the Millwood camp. There's this large tower, and you get it from there by jumping down from the rooftop. And the next one is the Earthseeker, which is a really unique great axe, since it has probably one of the most unique weapon skills in the entire game, which can be... This weapon scales with Faith. It has C scaling in Faith, and then I think it was actually even A scaling in Strength. I will have to double check. But it's great for Strength Faith builds, and what makes it even better for those builds is its weapon art. It was B scaling in strength and C scaling in faith. And what makes this weapon unique is, like I said, the weapon skill, which is this, the tremors. The weapon causes tremors around you after channeling for a bit. And why I feel like it's very good for faith builds is you can actually use this, and since the tremors are still going after you stop the channel, you can use that and instantly afterwards use whatever healing spell you have, so it kind of gives you a free heal in a sense. Obviously, if the enemy isn't stupid, you will take some damage during the channel, but I still think it's a pretty good thing to keep in mind. And this is upgraded with the Titanite scales, despite it not actually being a boss weapon. So yeah, and you get this from the snowy mountain pass bonfire. Just proceed forwards. After you fall down, there will be a Millwood Knight wielding this, and behind him there is this small cave in which there is a corpse that you found it from. And the next one is the Quakestone Hammer, which has meh AR for a hammer of this weight, and it only scales with strength. And this is also, you can also get this from the Snowy Mountain Pass when you just proceed forward. On top of the hill there will be a Millwood Knight with a bow in a corner, and behind him there will be a corpse from which you can loot this weapon. And what makes this weapon unique is its weapon art, which gives you hyper armor and does this two-hit combo. The first one it does after pressing the weapon out button, and the second one is when you follow it up with a strong attack. And people who have played Dark Souls 1 remember this from the DLC. The Guardians there wielded these stone hammers, and the strong attack of those hammers were very similar. That weapon art is actually relatively useful even in PvP if you can catch people. Usually you want to use it unlocked, but keep in mind it consumes a crap ton of stamina. So also this weapon looks like a stick that has a pile of shit at the end. So yeah, that's probably not the best design, but I actually enjoy this weapon quite a bit. The next one is the Follower Javelin, which is a very short spear with not the greatest damage. Obviously it's a spear and spears don't do much damage. And I would say this weapon is terrible in PvP. And acquiring these two knights at the same time with this weapon was actually a terrible idea, since spears aren't the greatest in fighting mobs of enemies, unless we are talking about the Deacons of the fuck. This is kinda awkward, but let me actually go visit the bonfire and try this again. But I can now talk about the Follower Javelin. So you get this, first of all, you get this from the Snowfield bonfire when you just proceed forward until you come along a cliff. Just go right, there will be a few tree enemies and then followers, and then there on the ledge there's a corpse that has this weapon in it. And like I said, the weapon has quite bad damage, it has terrible reach, but the only thing that making this weapon unique, I actually will not be able to beat these guys with this weapon since it's so fucking terrible. But the weapon skill is kinda unique. It's very unique. It's this throw. It deals the same amount of damage as your normal attacks will, but it gives the weapon range. But don't be mistaken, the weapon is still pretty fucking terrible in my opinion. It's... yeah. Yes, I am bad at PvE, but I still shouldn't be struggling this much with these knights, but the weapon art is fun, but the weapon is definitely crap. So yeah. And then this probably my favorite one, along with the Unexplained, the Freeze Great Scythe, which is one of the 2 weapons you can create out of the soul of Sister Freed, which is the main boss in the DLC. And the weapon art is a stance from which you can use that move, which is the strong attack, or you can use the... I just realized I have this, let me unequip that. Or you can use the R1s or RBs to do this 3-weapon combo, which looks cool as fuck. And one thing to keep in mind about this weapon is that it seems to have a relatively high AR, but since it does split damage, as doing split damage with magic and physical, the magic damage is actually only applied when using this stance. So this move and then the combo with like this. So the magic damage is only applied when using the stance. But this also has a unique 2-handed 3-hit normal combo, which is pretty cool. I prefer it to the normal Scythe moveset. But it's definitely a fun weapon, and it has A scaling in dexterity and A scaling in intelligence, so that makes it a pretty damn good weapon for dexterity intelligence builds. Also, one thing to note is that you can actually, as you can see, you can really well control when you want to strike with that dancing combo. So since the problem with the likes of Pharaoh Greatsword is that since the moves are so telegraphed, it's very easy to parry them, and that's why they are not really the best in PvP. But since with the Freeze Great Scythe you can control really well when you want to actually strike, that makes it a much better telegraph weapon, in my opinion. The next one is, oh yes, I mentioned it can be made of Elfried's soul. But the next one is the Gross Talons, which they are a fist weapon, and I don't really think fist weapons are the greatest weapons, but I definitely enjoy using fist weapons, and these are probably my favorite due to that cool ass looking weapon skill, which is this Raptor Flurry. Mind you, it doesn't give you hyper armor when you're starting the animation, so but these weapons are really good versus turtles since they also apply bleed. Please don't aggro to me. He did. But since the weapon does apply bleed, it's very good against people turtling. Especially when you buff it with the likes of Carter Stroke or some elemental buff just to do damage through the shield. Mind you, it doesn't bleed extremely fast, so even though you buffed it with the Carter Stroke resin, it still might not bleed instantly, but on the second attack it will definitely bleed the enemy. Also, if you see this buff on me, that is because I've been having this Pyromancer's Parting Flame on, and what this effect on me means, it means that I have an echo charge, which is what makes this new Pyromancer glove, the Pyromancer Parting Glove, so unique. So the weapon art of Pyromancer gloves in Dark Souls 3 is Combustion, but this one has a unique one, which is this. When you have this item equipped in an active slot, after a few kills, I think it's a little bit above 10. You gain an echo charge, which you can use then the weapon art, or weapon skill, to restore an Estus charge. Pretty neat if you don't like using shields and just want to look cool, so you can just keep this in your left hand while scrolling through the game, and you gain free Estus charge. Free Estus charge is every like 10 or I think it's 12 or 13 kills. I haven't tested it yet. Also, this Paraglove has another unique aspect, which is every time you use a combustion type spell, it actually deals a bit of extra damage. But the damage is fire damage, so Black Flame will do split damage if you use that. But it's still extra damage, and it makes great combustion even deadlier. So the next one is the Follower's Torch, which I'm not even gonna use on the guys out there, since I would get absolutely wrecked. This one has a different moveset than the Torch, since it's actually intended to be used in combat. And it has better stats than the Torch, since it's combat. It's specified to be used in combat, and the weapon. This one has a weapon skill, which is Breathe Fire. This long ass animation during which you channel and breathe fire, and yeah. It deals okay damage, but it is still a torch, so I don't recommend using this in PvP. And then there is the I actually skipped it. The Millwood Greatbow, which is, let me just say, it's fucking amazing. It's way better than the two other Greatbows in the game, and it deals way more damage. It's not too heavy. And the weapon skill, let me just demonstrate it to you. You shoot an arrow, which it deals normal damage when it actually hits an enemy, but afterwards it will blow up. Actually, I'm not sure if you saw that, so it will blow up and deal another wave of damage. So you shoot it regularly, and it blows up and deals the same damage again, which is pretty fucking neat, if you ask me. Oh yeah, there's also a whip, which I actually haven't managed to get yet, since I haven't played New Game Plus. I also forgot to tell you where a few of these weapons are located, so I will do that right now. But first, the whip is the Rose of Ariandel, which is one of the two, along with Freed's Greatside, along with one of the two boss weapons you can get from Sister Freed's Soul. But from what I've heard and read, it's absolutely shit. It has crappy damage, it's a whip, it has terrible damage, it has no strong attack, since the strong attack doubles as a chime. You can cast miracles with it, but the spell buff is actually terrible, and the weapon art buffs damaging miracles for 2 minutes, I think. It was 2 minutes. 2 minutes for it buffs them only damaging miracles. It gives you 20% extra damage for, and okay, there's one nice thing about it, and that is you can actually unequip it and still keep the buff. But it's terrible, so if you're deciding whether get the scythe or the whip, get the scythe. The whip is absolute crap. But I forgot, so the crow talons are picked up on a roof in the Corvian settlement. The follower torch is in Snowy Mountain Pass. When you just proceed forward, there will be eventually you will encounter some wolves, and where you encounter those wolves there is a path going down a bit, and at the end of that path there is a corpse and one follower enemy, and you can pick up the follower torch there. And the pyromancer's spotting flame you pick up behind two illusory walls in the basement of Ariandel Chapel, where there are lots of these bug enemies. There's an illusory wall in the basement where there's also the construction there are 2 lizards, and then there is this window you can jump off. You see an arena that is very similar to Priscilla's arena from Dark Souls 1, and on the arena you'll be invaded if you're embered. You will be invaded by an NPC invader that will drop you one of actually the new spells that I can also show you. She will drop you the Pyromancy, Floating Chaos, and there is also a couple of Homer Bones and the Pyromancer's Parting Glove that you can pick up on the ledge. And the Millwood Greatbow is picked up after the Millwood camp. Just go forward from the snowfield, which is the very first bonfire in the DLC. Go forward, and then when you reach the ledge, go to left. When you went to right, you got the follower javelin. When you go left, there is a Millwood camp, and there you can go uphill and from the left again, and there will be some enemies. I love saying "and." There will be some enemies, and fuck me. There you can pick up the Millwood Greatbow, and I think was Jesus Christ, I'm gonna kill myself. Have few arrows, Millwood Great Arrows. That's enough, and blah 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 blah. I will show you the spells right now. So I actually need a weapon for this. So the first one is Snap Freeze, which you can pick up where you fight the Great Tender and Great Tender's Great Wolf. That bonfire, just go left. When you go right from the bonfire, you go to the boss. When you go far left, there will be some tree enemies, and at the end you can pick off this Snap Freeze. It doesn't do damage in itself, but it casts this cloud of frost that actually freezes enemies extremely quickly. So if you actually want to use Frostbite, this is actually a great spell. The next one is Frozen Weapon. It imbues your right hand weapon with frost. Again, I don't feel like Frostbite is that effective, but it looks damn cool in my opinion. Then there is the Way of White Corona, which, let me just say, it's absolutely it's a terrible spell. 26 damage, and when it comes back, same 26 damage. I'm not an entirely a failed build, but 223 spell buff. I have a faith 45, and it deals 26 plus 6 damage. I really want to hear what the fuck was from the think with this. It's a terrible spell, don't use it. And the last one, which is also pretty crappy in my opinion, is the Floating Chaos. Don't attack me, you motherfucker. Okay, fine. You remember the enemies in Smoldering Lake that cast these fireballs that shoot? Yeah, this is that. It doesn't do too much damage, it attacks 3 times, but it can serve as a distraction, and of all these spells, I think this and Snap Freeze are 2 that you can actually use, and they can actually be viable. But that's all then. Obviously there are the armor sets and 2 shields, but I don't think those are too interesting to talk about in this video. I have one of my armor piece, headpiece and chest piece are from the DLC, but I'm pretty sure you can find on YouTube many other videos if you're interested in grabbing some of the equipment. Since the DLC has been out for a couple days, on Xbox it has been out for almost a week now, which is fucking bullshit, let me just tell you. And then one last thing, the DLC, in my opinion, it was great, but it was too short. Given it costs $50, the fact that we completed it, for me and my friend, both adventured through literally everything, and we completed it twice in like 5 hours, it's not enough. But yeah, this has been a long ass video and a lot of ands and actuallys, but thank you for watching. this is this is WeFox signing off, and I hope I will see you next time. Have fun, and also come join me on high level PvP on the arena. I can't find any matches. The ones I find are, the guys are pretty fucking terrible. Come help me. But yeah, thanks for watching, and stay awesome. Peace. So is this working? Yeah, everything is working fine. Alright, so this is 2 days later than the previous footage you saw, but I got the Rose of Ariandel now, and I played through New Game Plus. I'm now on New Game Plus 4, I think. But the thing is, before initiating the kneeling thing in Firelink, I forgot to give this transpose and kill until Lidless, so I'm stuck with all these souls. But luckily my friend, who also started New Game Plus, was willing to make this weapon and give it to me, so thanks to him. So the Rose of Ariandel is a very unique whip. It's a whip, it has higher AR than the other whips, but it has many really unique traits to it that I didn't actually know. So the first thing is, yes, it's a whip, but here you can see the standard whip moveset of the normal whip. And the moveset is very different. So this weapon doesn't have strong attacks. Strong attacks cast miracles. But the thing is, it has the same moveset as the hammer class weapons, which is very unique. So you get this from Sister Freeze Soul. It's one of the 2 boss soul weapons you can make, and that's 517 damage. Then when I do this, also I forgot to mention that this actually causes bleeding. And what's unique is this 3 years long animation that buffs miracle damage by 20% for 2 minutes, and even though I unequip the weapon, the buff still remains. So as you can see, my damaging miracles do more now, but it actually doesn't affect healing miracles, so it's just damaging. But overall, I still think this weapon is bad. I mean, if you were to use it as a backup weapon that you could also cast quick miracles on, then it could be alright, since I think the whip moveset is pretty terrible, and obviously this moveset is way better. But it still doesn't have the range of other whips. I haven't actually you cannot riposte with this. I am not quite sure. Can you parry it? I don't think so. But yeah, that's the Rose of Ariandel. So there you have it, the actual end of the video. That's all the Ash of Ariandel weapons, except for the 2 shields, which are, I can show you those 2. The Ethereal Oak Shield, which is actually pretty nice, since it actually regenerates 2 HP each second when it's equipped, which is pretty damn good in my opinion. And then there is the Follower Shield, which is nothing special, it's just has relatively high dark resistance and looks pretty nice. But I don't use shields anymore, so it's whatever. Anyways, thanks for watching. Now for real, and see you next time. Peace.